All right, let's get right into it and talk about, the most stubborn fitness goal out there, belly fat. It's that one spot that just seems to hang on for dear life, no matter what you throw at it. But what if I told you the solution wasn't more hours of grueling cardio? Well, in this explainer, we are breaking down a way simpler and, frankly, more effective method.
And wow, isn't that the absolute truth? It seriously feels like you can just look at a slice of cake and gain an inch on your waist. But trying to lose it? That feels like an uphill battle in the snow. It's a frustration we all get, and we're about to dig into exactly why that is, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. So here's our game plan. First, we're gonna get to know our enemy, that stubborn belly fat. Then we'll pull the curtain back and see why all the common advice is basically setting you up for failure. After that, I'll lay out a super simple two-step method that actually gets results. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about the secret weapon that makes this whole thing stick.
Okay, let's start at square one, the core of the issue. Why in the world does belly fat seem to have a mind of its own? Why does it cling on for dear life when you're losing weight from, everywhere else?
First things first, let's get one thing straight. If you're struggling with this, it is not a personal feeling. You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined. This is pure biology. Your body is literally programmed to work this way.
So what's really going on in there? Well, it pretty much boils down to a couple of key things. First up, genetics. Your DNA has a pre-written script for where fat comes off first and where it comes off last. And for a lot of us, the stomach is last in line for the exit. Second, the actual fat cells around your middle are just different. They have way more stop signals for fat burning and fewer go signals. And to make it even worse, that area often has poor blood flow, so the hormones that are screaming burn fat can barely even get there. It's like the perfect storm of stubbornness.
Okay, so now that we know the biology, it's pretty easy to see why so much of the common fitness advice just totally misses the mark. So let's bust some of the biggest myths that are probably causing you the most headaches. The biggest myth of them all has to be spot reduction. We've all heard it, we've all probably tried it, but you simply cannot tell your body where to burn fat from. It just doesn't work that way. Fat loss happens all over, and as we just said, your genetics are the boss that decides the order. That one spot you want to lose the most, it's almost always the last to get the memo.
And this myth leads us straight to the classic crunch. You could do thousands of them, right? But they won't magically burn the layer of fat that's covering your abs. What they are good for isn't fat burning, it's muscle building. By developing those ab muscles underneath, you're creating a stronger, more defined core that will actually start to pop through sooner as you lose overall body fat.
So think of it this way. Ab training is like prepping your muscles for the big reveal. You're building them up, getting them ready, so that as soon as your overall body fat gets low enough, bam, they're ready for showtime. It's about revealing the muscle, not removing the fat with that specific exercise.
Okay, so what about just blasting calories with intense cardio? HIIT workouts, long, punishing runs. I mean, on paper, that makes sense, but in the real world, this approach usually backfires. It can absolutely crush your strength for lifting, it slows down muscle recovery, and let's be honest, it's just not fun to do day after day. It leaves you feeling totally drained, which is the #1 enemy of consistency. Which brings us to the good part, the solution.
It's time to forget the myths, forget the burnout. Here is the simple, science-backed method that actually finally works.
Let's be crystal clear on this. There are no secret pills, no magic exercises, no weird tricks. If you want to lose fat from anywhere on your body, and yes, that includes your belly, you must be in a calorie deficit, period. This is the non-negotiable foundation for everything.
So how does that even work? Well, it all comes down to your maintenance calories. Think of this as your body's daily energy budget. It's the amount of calories you need to just stay the exact same weight. To lose fat, you just have to consistently spend more energy than you take in. It's a basic law of physics, and it is the bedrock of this whole process.
So, here it is. The whole method in 2 simple steps. Step 1 is creating that calorie deficit with what you eat. That's the what. Step 2 is speeding up that deficit by adding some low-effort activity that won't make you want to quit. That's the how.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If intense cardio is out because it's just not sustainable and it messes with our recovery, then what's left? What can we actually do every single day to burn some extra calories without all those downsides?
The answer is so beautifully, almost ridiculously simple. It's walking. Yep, just walking. The most basic human movement is also one of the most powerful and underrated tools for fat loss.
So why is walking the perfect tool for the job?
Well, for one, your body doesn't care. A calorie burned is a calorie burned, whether it's from an all-out sprint or a nice, easy stroll. But unlike that sprint, you can walk every single day without your joints screaming at you and without messing up your recovery. And here's the real kicker. It doesn't make you ravenously hungry afterward, so you're not tempted to just eat back all the calories you just burned.
And that brings us to our last and honestly our most important section. You can have the best plan in the world, but it means nothing without consistency. So let's talk about how to make this a part of your actual life.
So what's the magic number to shoot for? It's right around 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. When you hit this target consistently, it creates a really significant calorie burn over time. And the best part is, you can do it without ever feeling like you're doing a formal workout.
And look, you don't have to go on some 2-hour hike to get these steps in. It's about tiny changes. Park in the back of the parking lot. Always take the stairs. Pace around when you're on the phone. A great way to start is just to add 2 extra 10-minute walks to your day. It's about weaving more movement into the life you're already living.
This is the power of compounding. These small, almost unnoticeable actions, they build on each other. Day after day, week after week, all those extra calories you burn just by moving a little more add up to create real, visible results.
So let's tie this all together. Your calorie deficit, that's the engine. That's what reveals the muscle underneath. Walking, that's the sustainable accelerator. That's how you burn extra calories without the burnout. And consistency, that is the secret sauce that holds it all together and guarantees you're gonna get there. And that's the method. It's simple, it's sustainable, and it's backed by science. It's not about finding more time for brutal workouts. It's about making small, consistent changes. So, the only question left to ask is, what's one small step you're going to start walking toward today?